Hi everyone. So welcome to our web design and development session. So in this session, as usual, it's a continuation of our previous class. So we will continue. So as you know, we are now studying CSS. So which is a term we use for cascading style sheet, which we use to design or design the layout of a web page, right? So in that case, as usual, let me revise what we studied in the previous classes. So here these three we covered in the first class of CSS, and then in the last class we covered this, right? So these are some of the fundamentals. So it is worth repeating again and again until it becomes, or you become very comfortable with it, right? So here these three are the ways in which we can use CSS, right? These three are the ways we can use CSS. So inline CSS, you know that, right? We use within the HTML tag itself. This is what we refer by inline CSS. So within the tag itself, with the attribute of style, we can use the CSS properties, right? That's what we mean by inline CSS, right? Then internal CSS. So internal, so you know here there are tag. Then within the head tag, using the style tag, we can define using this selector, right? Using this selector, we can define. So if you don't remember, you can go back to the previous lectures, right? So that is internal CSS. And external CSS, here is our paragraph, right? So in a separate CSS file, for example, style.css, we give the style, for example, color, right? Then what we have to do in this page, within the head tag, we have to add the reference of the CSS file. So you know how do we add the reference? So using the link, here we use relationship style sheet, and then we use the attribute href, and we give the reference of our CSS file. For example, if the CSS file's name is CSS style.css, then we give this way and we finish this, right? Then whatever is in this external CSS file will reflect in our HTML page, right? So these are the three ways we discussed how we can add CSS to any HTML document, right? So then we discussed about margin and padding. Before that, I missed one thing, that is syntax of CSS, right? Syntax of CSS. This is actually applicable to internal CSS and external CSS. What we mean by syntax of CSS is how do we reference a CSS style to any particular HTML element. For example, here, let's assume we have a paragraph tag, hello world. Then in inline CSS, by extending this paragraph tag using the style attribute, we can give our CSS style, which is only applicable to the particular HTML tag, right? So that is all about inline CSS. Now we are going to talk about the syntax, how do we reference any CSS style to any particular HTML element or group of elements. So in that case, the syntax format is applicable to internal CSS and external CSS. So where the syntax is, syntax, you know, right, the format, or you can call it as the grammar of programming. So you have to reference the selector, and then within curly braces you have to give the property and then value. This is the syntax of CSS, right? So here, for example, using this syntax, if you want to apply this, so this P is the selector. So if you want to apply style to this paragraph tag, the P is the selector. So the application will come like this. E within this bracket, we'll have to write the property is the CSS property. We are little by little we are getting introduced to several CSS property. So one such property is color. Value is any suitable value depending on the particular property. So if we apply color, for example, let's say it's green. So what this will do is, for the selector P, means paragraph tag, for all the paragraph tags, it will apply color green, right? This is what the syntax, this is what the syntax, right? Right, that's the syntax of CSS. This is applicable to either internal CSS or external CSS. Then we discussed about padding and margin, right? This is also very important. Now what we are doing is we are putting the solid foundation to understand CSS. Then it will be very easy for you to work with any type of styling, right? So now let's come to this padding and margin, right? So if you take any, this is our web page. This is our web page, right? So your content area or the outer space is we call margin, right? Inner space, this inner space we call padding. For example, if you think MS Word, even though the paper is like this, we don't start typing from here. We make some space. So this is the only space that is available for us to type. This margin we already left as offset. So within this region, we can't do anything, right? Within this region, we can't do anything. So this is the outer space. So that is margin. We discussed this in very detail in the last class. So if you don't remember, you can go back to the previous lecture recording, right? So this is inner space we call padding. And directions. For example, why we have to bother this direction is one CSS property is there, margin. So 50 pixel margin, you know, you are leaving some outer space. You are leaving some outer space. So in that case, if you barely give margin colon 50 pixel, what this will mean is for all the four directions, for all these four directions, give the margin 50 pixel. So that's why wherever the four directions are applicable, you have to remember This upper area is referred as top, then right, bottom, left. So it works this way. The clockwise, it means if you just apply like this, margin, we discussed this, right? I am just revising again and again so that you can easily remember. And this means if you apply margin this way, it means this first one is for the top, then right, bottom, and left. That's why I told it starting from top, it works in the clockwise rotation, right? So we discuss further into this, so you can refer to the previous recording if you need more detail. And color is one of the most important CSS property we will very often we will be using, because it's what makes the good user experience, right? If you barely use only one color, it will not make any very good user appearance. So in that case, we will be using several colors, so it's very important to understand color, right? When it comes to color, if you just use color property, this means you are referring to the foreground color or the text color right? If you use this one, background color, it is self-descriptive. We are referring to the background. And also color you can use in three ways. That's what we discussed in the last class. Color can be referenced in three ways. One is certain colors have exact name, right? For example, black is black, right? So if you just use the color as black, it means okay, it will take the black color. And you know there are thousands of variations in black color. Okay, if you change the combination of RGB, red, green, blue, it will automatically change, right? So in that case, the second way, using RGB value, you can go up to 255, 1 to 255, because it's 8 bits. So starting from 1 to, you can go to 255, right? So in this way, you can give the color. You can change this value, then it will give a different color. We also see the example in Photoshop, how we can get different colors. And then 3, using hexadecimal code. Whatever the form, hexadecimal stand for base 16. So base 16 starts from, 1 to F, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 9, and then A to F, right? It's a different subject, but anyway, I'm just telling these are the three ways we can use color. So these are all what we studied in the previous class. Now let's learn new things today. As we touched in the previous class, one most important area in CSS is selector, right? So let's understand how, in which ways we can use selector, right? So if you want to master CSS, you should master how to use the selector. So what we mean by selector, for example, here there are two paragraph texts. For example, say hello world, hello, and another paragraph text, world. Right. So this is the selector. So if you just use, as per the syntax, if you just reference paragraph, what will happen? Whatever you apply will be applied to these two. Why? Because you have just simply referred the default HTML element paragraph. So here, then all the paragraph tag will have this effect, right? This is not the only way we can use the selector. There are so many different ways we can use selector, right? That's what we are going to study today. So let's say, for example, now we want to apply style only to this one. We don't want to apply style to this one. Then even though these two are paragraph tag, there should be a way to separate it, right? There should be a way to separate it. So there are so many different ways we can separate it, or we can customize the way we apply CSS so that it is apply only to particular selector. That's what today we are going to discuss. So we can use selector in so many different ways. We can discuss one by one. First one, we can tell simple selector or the default selector. So what we mean by that is, there is a paragraph tag or H1 tag to, sorry. So we just reference using paragraph tag, and to reference H1 tag, we simply use H1. So this is called simple selector. So we have used the default HTML element. If there is a standard HTML element, so for example, paragraph, H1 tag, H1 to H6 tag, and table, image, and so on. Those are default HTML tags. It has a meaning. So in that case, you can simply refer. You can simply refer, right? This is the simple selector. This is, it's very clear, I believe, because you just reference the tag name. For example, if you want to apply something to this image source, since this img is a standard tag in HTML, you can simply apply this. You can simply use image as the selector. What if you want to apply particular style to only particular image? If you just apply here, what will happen? It will universally apply to all the image tag available in your HTML document. So we want to apply to one image and we don't want it to apply to another image. In that case, we have to separate it. Then we need different kind of selector or different kind of mechanism to reference different HTML tag or same HTML tag. So this is the simple selector. This is very common to use, right? And another common way is using ID and class. Using ID and class. This is also very important for you to understand. ID and class. So what this means? ID is unique identifier. So what it means is, for example, now we have a two paragraph. Now ID is one of the property or attribute which you can use to any HTML tag, right? There are certain attributes that are specific to particular tag. For example, for the paragraph tag, you can't use source. It is meaningless, right? It is meaningless. But This ID and class attribute are very common for any HTML tag you can apply, because these are references. These are used for referencing any particular HTML element. So you can use ID or class. So when you use ID, you can give any value here. Can give any value here, but only thing is it should not start with the number. You can't start with the number. Can't start with the number. Sorry, it gives a different meaning. You can't start with the number. For example, you can give P1. This is okay. This is okay. Even though these two are paragraph. These two are paragraph, but using ID, we are separating this. This is the first paragraph, ID equal P1. Here we are referencing ID equal P2. Another thing, ID is unique, right? ID is unique. It means if you give P1 here, you can't give P1 here again in the same HTML document. In the same HTML document. If it is different, you can give, of course. In the same HTML document or in a single HTML document, you can't repeat the ID more than one time. So if it is P1, it is P2. Right? This is ID. Mostly we will use when we learn JavaScript, right? So in that case, ID is very, very useful, because if you want to apply some unique behavior or function to particular element, then we have to separate it. So that's where we use ID mostly. So P1 and P2. Another element is there. Then I will, after explaining, I will show the demo. Then it will be very clear. Class, for example, my. Okay, I will give a simple one. Class 1. Here, if you want to give a same class, you can give it. Otherwise, if you want to give a different class, no problem. Here, class, you can give same value also, right? Now we have two different IDs, because ID cannot be repeated more than once, but class can be repeated. So C1. Now, for the sake of explaining, we will have third paragraph. Now you see here, now try to understand. If we just use the simple selector, for example, in this, if you apply any CSS style to paragraph tag, what will happen? It will apply to this one and this two. Why? You have used the HTML tag itself as a reference. So color, pink. So for all these three paragraph tag, this color pink will be applied. So all the paragraph tags color will be in green, sorry, in pink color, right? So that's what, if we refer paragraph tag. Now, instead of paragraph tag, you can use class as the reference. You can use class as the reference. Right? In that case, what's the class name? C1. Right. Here, paragraph tag is the identifiable one, right? Because it has a meaning. It's a default tag in HTML, so it will be identified by the web browser. Now C1, it doesn't know what it is. What is C1? Right. Now, if you want to reference class, before the class name, you have to use the period, or in our usage, dot or full stop. Here use the dot C1. Now this means this will reflect, okay, it's a class. Now web browser will look into class with the value C1. Now if you apply this way, so if you want to reference class, you have to apply here dot C1. Then what will happen? This paragraph 1, first paragraph and second paragraph has the class with C1, then it will only be applied to first paragraph, this one and this one. Why? We are referencing using the class selector. So paragraph 1 and 2 only having C1 as the class, then it will be applied to only these two. Again, if you want to uniquely apply any sort of style to this first paragraph alone, now we have to look into something that is unique only to this paragraph, first paragraph. In that case, we have ID. In that case, we have ID because if something has P1, if an ID has P1 as the value, none of the other ID will have P1 in the entire document. So it's very safe to use. So now we are going to reference ID. If you want to reference ID, you have to use the hash. You have to use hash, then ID name. There's a syntax for referencing ID. So here, what's the ID name? P1. So you can take note. If you are referencing using class, what's the syntax? You have to put the full stop, then you have to use the class name. Using ID, how do we do it? We put the hash and we give the ID name. Remember, ID must be unique. You can't give same value to more than one element. Must be unique. So let me solve few example, then it's you understand better. So let me explain in Tamil. ஏன் நாங்க காமனாக யூஸ் பண்ற சிம்பிள் செலக்டரை மாத்திரம் பாவிக்க இல்லாதுன்னு சொன்னா, சில நேரம் இங்க நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னு சொன்னா இது மூன்றுமே paragraph டெக் தான். இது மூன்றுமே paragraph டெக் தான். இப்போ நாங்க சிம்பிளாக paragraph டெக்கை ரெஃபரன்ஸ் பண்ணிட்டு CSS அப்ளை பண்ணுவோமா இருந்தா, இந்த கலர் பிங்க்னு சொல்றது எல்லா paragraph டெக்குக்குமே அப்ளை ஆயிருக்கு. அப்படி எங்களுக்கு தேவையில்ல, நாங்க ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்கா கொடுக்குற paragraph டெக்குக்கு மட்டும்தான் அந்த ஸ்டைல் அப்ளை ஆகணுங்கக்குள்ள சிம்பிள் செலக்டரை யூஸ் பண்ணி, அதாவது டிஃபால்ட்டான HTML எலிமெண்ட் ஒன்றை ரெஃபரன்ஸ் பண்ணி எங்களுக்கு பாவிக்கலாம் போகும். என்ன அப்படி பாவிச்சோம்னு சொன்னா அந்த ஸ்டைல் வந்து எல்லாத்துக்குமே அப்ளை ஆகும். ஸோ அதால அதை சேம் HTML எலிமெண்டாக இருந்தாலும் அதை செப்பரேட் பண்றதுக்கு எங்களுக்கு இருக்கிற ரெண்டு எட்ரிபியூட், இது ஒன்று ஐடி, அடுத்தது வந்து கிளாஸ். ஐடியை பொறுத்த வரையில நான் வளமையாக யூஸ் பண்ற எட்ரிபியூட்டை போடுற மாதிரி தான் போடுவோம். ஐடி ஈக்குவல், தென் வித்தின் கோட்டேஷன் எங்களோட வெலுவை கொடுக்கலாம். ஐடியை பாவிக்கிற நேரம் இந்த வெலு வந்து யூனிக்காக இருக்கணும். ஒரு சிங்கிள் HTML டாக்குமெண்ட்ல ஐடி ஒரு சேம் வெலு, ஐடிக்கு நாங்க கொடுக்குற சேம் வெலு இன்னொரு ஐடிக்கு நாங்க கொடுக்க இயலாதுங்கிற ஒரு விஷயம் ஒன்று இருக்குது. அதே மாதிரி கிளாஸை பொறுத்த வரையில இந்த ஐடி உண்மையில நாங்க கூட ஜாவா ஸ்கிரிப்ட்ல தான் பாவிப்போம். ஸோ சிஎஸ்எஸ் முடிச்சதுக்கு பிறகு ஜாவா ஸ்கிரிப்ட் நாங்கள் லேர்ன் பண்ணுவோம். அந்த நேரம் கிளியராக ஐடியோட யூசேஜ் உங்களுக்கு வழங்கும். இங்க வந்து அதே மாதிரி கிளாஸ்ன்னு ஒரு செலக்டரையும் நாங்க பாவிக்கலாம். ஸோ கிளாஸை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் நம்ம அதே கிளாஸை மோர் தென் ஒன் HTML எலிமெண்ட்டுக்கு நாம கொடுக்கலாம். ரைட். அதே மாதிரி இங்க கிளாஸை ரிஃபரன்ஸ் பண்றதாக இருந்தா சிஎஸ்எஸ்ல டாட் போட்டு கிளாஸ் நேம் எழுதுவோம். உதாரணத்துக்கு இங்க C1. ஐடியை பாவிக்கிறதாக இருந்தா ஹேஷ் போட்டு ஐடி நேம் கொடுப்போம். இங்க P1 பாத்தீங்கன்னா தெரியும். P1 மட்டும் நாங்க ரிஃபரன்ஸ் பண்ணினா அந்த ஸ்டைல் 3 பாராகிராஃபுக்கும் அப்ளை ஆக மாட்டுச்சு. ஐடி P1 எங்க இருக்குதோ அதுக்கு மட்டும்தான் அந்த அப்ளை ஆகும். அதே மாதிரிதான் இங்க கிளாஸ் வந்து நாங்க ரிப்பீட் பண்ணலாம். ஸோ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பாராகிராஃபுக்கும் செகண்ட் பாராகிராஃபுக்கும் நாங்க கிளாஸ் ரிஃபரன்ஸ் வந்து C1 கொடுத்துக்கிறோம். ஸோ C1க்கு ஏதாவது ஸ்டைல நாங்க அப்ளை பண்ற நேரம் அது பாராகிராஃப் 1க்கும் 2க்கும் தான் அப்ளை ஆகும். Right. Now let's see one example to demonstrate this. First paragraph. Right. So now we have 3 paragraphs. Right. So either is okay for the purpose of demonstration. In this example, I'm going to use the internal CSS. If you want to use as external CSS, what do you have to do? You have to copy this entire code here that will come here. So you have to copy this and you have to create it as a separate external CSS file, and then you have to link that CSS. Okay, I will show you that also. Right. So now style. I did put this and right. Now for the paragraph tag, let's apply the font size 50 px 50 pixel. So let me save this, selector.html. Now let's open this file. Right. Now we are getting font size in 50 pixel, right? Then let's extend this using IDN. Using IDN class. So ID1 I am giving class C1, ID2. You can't have ID1 here because already we have given to first paragraph. But in case of class, we can have it. So class 1. So now we have given ID1 for first paragraph, whereas class 1 C1 as the class. So for the paragraph 2, we have given ID as ID2, class is C1, right? Now let's use some style using class. So if you want to reference class, you have to use the dot or the period C1. If you forget to give this, then this CSS style will not be applied. It doesn't know, it will look into as C1 as default HTML element. It won't be available. So in that case, your style will not be available, right? So here we have reference the period. So it means we are referring to class. So it will look into the class value C1. So wherever C1 is the class value, those styles will be applicable to those particular HTML elements. So here I am going to give the color orange. background color black, padding 10 pixel, border 2 pixel, solid yellow. Let's refresh this and see what happens. Now you see here this style, these properties, these CSS properties have been applied only to C1 and class. So since we have first paragraph and second paragraph have the class C1, these styles are applied to those paragraph. Now if I remove it, let's say we forgot to put this, then what will happen? Those styles won't be applied, right? If you just give C1, it will consider it as a default HTML text. Since this is not available here, this style will not be applied. So it has to be this one. Now let me use ID reference. So if you want to use ID, you have to reference using hash, then you have to put the ID value. So ID1, I'm giving, we'll just try to align center, text align. The CSS properties actually you don't need to remember, you have to just understand, right? There are so many ample documentation available in internet. You can just go and refer. One such is w3schools.com. But only thing is you should know how to use. Even if you forget this, you can go back to the recording or you can reference any online materials just to know. But what I am trying to teach you is you should know how to use this, right? So text align is just to align the text. So let me make it center. And text transform uppercase. Now let's go to this and refresh. You see here now first paragraph is we are having ID1. So now we have applied the CSS. So it has applied only ID1. And also we discussed in the last class, if you want to apply the same style to more than one HTML element within the same CSS selector, you can just give by the comma. Now what will happen? What's the meaning of this? We want to apply this style to ID1 and also for the paragraph tag. Since we have not used any dot or hash, it means okay, it's a default HTML element. So in this case, it is a paragraph. So this two will be applied to since we have used P paragraph. So this text align, all the text will be centered and all the text will be transformed to uppercase. Now we don't want this, so you can keep it like this. Now we have three different styles. Let me show another way of using the selector. So let's, instead of this P paragraph, instead of paragraph, let's say this one bold. Bold is a default tag in HTML, right? So now if you refresh it, you are having like this. You are having like this. Why? Paragraph is only applied to 50 pixel is only applied to paragraph. So since this is not a paragraph, now we have this one is only applied only to this one. So now, but C1 class 1 is given for both this paragraph tag and also this bold tag. Now what if you want to apply this C1 or the class reference only to classes where the HTML element is paragraph? So the other way, if you want to apply this style only to paragraphs which are having classes C1, in that case we have to give like this, means paragraph tag with the class name C1. Are you getting? Paragraph tag with the class name C1. Now what this will do is this style will be applied to class C1, whereas only to paragraphs. So if any paragraph tag, only if any paragraph tag having class name as C1 will take this style. Not any class C1, only the C1 from paragraph tag. Now if I refresh, now you see here, even though these two are having C1 class 1, but since we use this way, it is applied only to paragraph tag having the class C1. Now if I remove this, what will happen? This would apply to all, right? So let me make this paragraph again. So hopefully we have some good style, right?